My friends, abrahio, discipline is not a gift. It is not inherited, nor is it granted by luck or chance. Discipline is forged, hammered in the furnace of intention, and tested in the fires of resistance. To build unstoppable discipline, you must first begin with a definite purpose. A man or woman without a clear aim drifts like a ship without a compass. The winds of distraction and the storms of doubt will toss such a vessel endlessly. But when the purpose is defined, when you know exactly what you want and why you want it, your mind becomes a magnet, drawing to itself all the power necessary to achieve it. Next, you must gain control over your own mind. The mind is both your greatest servant and your most dangerous master. It will whisper excuses. It will tempt you toward ease. It will paint comfort as success. But discipline is the gatekeeper that says, "Not today." Control your thoughts and you will control your destiny. Then comes the building of habit. No man becomes disciplined by occasional effort. Repetition is the architect of mastery. Each time you rise early when you wish to sleep, each time you work when others rest, you lay another brick in the fortress of your will. What once feels heavy becomes light. What once feels forced becomes natural. That is the miracle of habit. It transforms pain into power. But be warned, the path of discipline is not smooth. There will be adversity, and it will not come to break you, but to test you. Every obstacle is a question. How much do you truly desire what you claim to want? The weak shrink, the strong persist. Every act of endurance writes the proof of your resolve upon your character. And above all, honor yourself. Keep the promises you make to your own soul. When you say you will rise, rise. When you say you will act, act. A person who cannot trust his own word is forever a stranger to his own potential. Discipline is self-respect made visible. Finally, hold before your mind a vision of victory. See yourself as you wish to be. Feel the pride, the power, the calm control that comes from conquering yourself. For the greatest victory in life is not over others, but over the weaker version of yourself that once ruled you. Discipline is not punishment. It is the path to power. It is the invisible bridge between desire and achievement, and the one who masters it commands the world. There comes a moment in every person's life when the world stands still, a moment when you must ask yourself one powerful question: what do I truly want? For until that question is answered, you walk through life half awake, a wanderer without a map, a traveler without a destination. A man without a definite purpose is like a ship adrift at sea. The wind blows from every direction, the waves toss him about, and though the vessel is strong, it never reaches the shore. But the man with a purpose, a burning, definite purpose, becomes a commander of his own destiny. The same winds that once tossed him now propel him forward. The same storms that once frightened him now strengthen his resolve. Purpose is not merely a wish. It is not a daydream or a vague desire. It is a demand you place upon yourself. It is a clear and definite goal so charged with emotion, so alive with meaning, that it grips your mind, occupies your thoughts, and guides your every action. It becomes the reason you rise early and the fire that keeps you awake at night. The moment you decide upon a definite purpose, the whole universe begins to shift. Circumstances bend, opportunities appear, and unseen forces begin to move in your favor. People call it luck. It is not luck, it is law. When your mind holds a clear vision, your energy finds direction. The mind, once scattered, now focuses with the precision of a laser. And that focus, sustained over time, becomes the root of unstoppable discipline. But understand this truth: purpose without plan is illusion. You must write your purpose. You must define it so clearly that there is no doubt what at you pursue. When you read it aloud, your very heart should respond. Your purpose should make you uncomfortable with ordinary living. It should pull you forward like a magnet draws steel. Ask yourself, what am I willing to give, to endure, to sacrifice for the realization of this goal? Because purpose demands payment, and that payment is discipline. You cannot drift to greatness. You cannot stumble into success. Every act of discipline becomes an offering to your purpose. Each time you resist temptation, each time you rise above laziness or fear, you are feeding that flame. And when your purpose is definite, discipline ceases to be a burden. It becomes a privilege. You no longer say, I must. You begin to say, I will. The mind stops negotiating with weakness and begins commanding strength. The man who knows what he wants and why he wants it can endure almost any hardship. He can walk through ridicule, fatigue, rejection, and doubt because his purpose stands before him like a mountain peak. He sees it in his mind long before his hands touch it. That vision fuels his spirit when the body is weary. So decide today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today. What is the one goal that will bring meaning to your effort, power to your discipline, and direction to your days? Write it, speak it, believe it. Then align every thought, every action, and every habit with that purpose. For the man who acts with purpose commands the respect of time itself. The hours serve him, the days obey him, and even the years conspire in his favor. While others wander, he advances. While others hesitate, he decides. While others doubt, he acts. And in the end, when his work is done and his dream fulfilled, the world will not ask how he did it. It will simply marvel that he never stopped moving toward it. Because when purpose is definite, discipline becomes destiny. The greatest battlefield on earth lies not in the world outside, but in the silent territory within your own mind. It is there, in the unseen chambers of thought, that every victory is first won and every defeat first conceived. The mind is the master power that shapes all other powers. It is both architect and destroyer, servant and ruler. Until a person learns to command his thoughts, he remains a prisoner of his own potential. Every action begins as a thought. Every triumph, every tragedy, every empire, every failure, all were first born in the human mind. And yet most people allow their minds to wander like wild horses, running wherever impulse drives them. They feed their minds with doubt, fear, complaint, and wonder why life gives them the same in return. But those who achieve greatness know a secret. They do not let the mind drift. They seize it. They train it. They make it obey. Control of the mind is not achieved in an hour, nor granted by nature. It is built through effort, awareness, and repetition. You must become a watchman at the gate of your thoughts. For every thought you allow to enter shapes the destiny you are building. The mind will try to tempt you toward comfort, to convince you that delay is wisdom and weakness is peace. It will whisper, "You've done enough today," or "You can start tomorrow." And if you listen long enough, you will surrender before the battle even begins. To control the mind, one must first understand it. The mind feeds on what you give it. It expands what it repeatedly receives. If you dwell on fear, your fears multiply. If you focus on faith, your confidence grows. The thoughts you hold longest become the patterns of your character. Therefore, fill your mind deliberately, not with noise, but with purpose, not with excuses, but with determination. Guard your inner dialogue, for it writes the script of your life. Discipline of thought precedes discipline of action. You cannot act decisively while thinking uncertainly. The man who says, "I can," and the man who says, "I can't," are both correct, because the mind makes it so. Your mind bell. Eves, whatever you teach it to believe. Tell it you are weak, and weakness will appear. Tell it you are capable, and it will summon strength. The mind does not argue, it obeys. Train your mind each morning as a warrior sharpens his sword. Begin your day by commanding your thoughts. Declare who you are, what you will achieve, and how you will think. When negative whispers arise, and they will, do not argue with them, replace them. The human mind cannot hold two opposing thoughts with equal power. Feed the one that serves you, and starve the one that betrays you. Control of the mind means control of emotion. You cannot allow anger, doubt, or discouragement to become your masters. Feel them, acknowledge them, then direct them toward growth. The disciplined mind does not deny emotion, it channels it. Energy once wasted in worry becomes fuel for progress. Passion once scattered becomes focused into purpose. Remember, The mind is your greatest servant, but only if you first become its master. If you let it rule you, it will keep you chained to mediocrity. If you rule it, it will carry you to heights few ever reach. And in that mastery lies freedom. Not freedom from effort, but freedom from chaos. When the mind is steady, the path is clear. When the mind is calm, decisions are strong. When the mind is disciplined, success becomes inevitable. So begin the work. Seize the reins of your thoughts and refuse to surrender them to fear or doubt. Each time you direct your mind, you strengthen it. Each time you resist a negative impulse, you reclaim your power. And soon you will discover that the world bends not to chance, but to the will of the one who has mastered his own mind. Every act you repeat writes a line in the story of who you are becoming. Habit is the silent sculptor of destiny, shaping character, directing action, and determining success long before the world ever sees the result. What you do once is an event. What you do daily becomes your identity. The person who masters his habits masters his life. Discipline in its truest form is not the strength to act once. It is the strength to act again, and again, and again until the act no longer requires strength. Habit is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the unseen force that keeps you moving when motivation fades, the invisible engine that carries you toward your purpose when the fire of inspiration burns low. Understand this: no one is born with disciplined habits. They are built brick by brick through conscious repetition. Every morning you rise when you could sleep longer. Every task you complete when no one is watching. Every temptation you resist. You are laying another stone in the foundation of unbreakable habit. Each choice reinforces the next until discipline becomes not a fight, but a natural state of being. At first, the work is hard. The mind rebels. The body resists. The world offers distractions disguised as rest. You will want to delay, to skip, to quit. But if you persist through those early battles, something extraordinary happens. Effort becomes instinct. What was once a struggle becomes a rhythm. The same actions that once demanded willpower now happen without thought. The difficult becomes easy, and the easy becomes powerful. Habit is repetition guided by purpose. Without purpose, repetition becomes routine, motion without meaning. But when your habits are tied to a definite aim, every repetition becomes an act of creation. Each day of consistency carves a deeper groove in your character, aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions toward the same target. Success, then, is not achieved by sudden bursts of greatness, but by small acts done well, repeatedly, over time. Consider this truth: your future is hidden in your daily habits. If you wish to know where your life is headed, look at what you do consistently. Your habits are the seeds, your destiny is the harvest. Sow laziness, and you will reap regret. Sow diligence, and you will harvest strength, clarity, and power. Habit formation begins in thought, but is proven in action. You must first decide who you wish to become, then act as though you are already that person. Each time you follow through on a promise to yourself, you strengthen your identity as someone who can be trusted. Soon, your self-image aligns with your discipline, and the cycle reinforces itself. The stronger your habits, the stronger your belief. The stronger your belief, the stronger your habits. There will be days when fatigue whispers, "Not today." Those are the days that matter most. Each time you act in defiance of comfort, you drive another nail into the coffin of weakness. You are not building habits for convenience, you are building them for power. And power, once earned through habit, cannot be taken from you. Remember, excellence is never an act of chance. It is the cumulative result of disciplined habits maintained over time. Every great achiever, every visionary, every leader the world has ever known became great not by rare genius, but by consistent practice. The difference between mediocrity and mastery is measured in what you do daily, not occasionally, not when it's easy, but always. So, choose your habits as you would choose your destiny. Build routines that demand strength, that develop your will, that keep you advancing even when no one applauds. And one day, when others marvel at your success, you will know the truth. You did not rise because of luck or talent. You rose because you built habits that refuse to let you fall. The moment a person decides to pursue something greater than comfort, adversity awakens. It is as if the universe leans forward and says, "Let us see how much you truly desire what you claim to want." Every dream worth having must first be tested by difficulty, for persistence is the proof of desire, and adversity is the furnace in which true strength is forged. No one becomes powerful by walking the path of ease. Mountain does not lower itself to meet the climber. The climber must rise to meet the mountain. Each obstacle that stands before you is not placed there to block your way, but to measure your will. Life will whisper, "Turn back." It will tempt you with comfort, mock you with doubt, and strike you with failure. Yet it is precisely in those moments that greatness begins. The difference between those who succeed and those who surrender lies not in talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but in the stubborn refusal to quit. Adversity is not your enemy, it is your instructor. It reveals what you are made of. When you are pushed to your limit, when nothing seems to move, when effort feels wasted and progress invisible, that is when the real work begins. Persistence is born not in victory, but in resistance. Every trial you endure with faith and determination strengthens your character and sharpens your resolve. The road to mastery is paved with disappointment. You will fail. You will be misunderstood. You will face days when everything you build crumbles beneath your hands. But if you continue, if you rise again and again, you will discover that each fall was a lesson, each hardship a hidden gift. Persistence turns defeat into wisdom and failure into foundation. The one who endures learns the secrets the quitter will never know. There is no growth in comfort. The soul expands only when pressed against resistance. Steel becomes unbreakable only after it has felt the fire. Likewise, you will never know your true power until life demands that you use it. Those who avoid adversity remain fragile. Those who embrace it become indestructible. When you meet hardship, do not curse it. Stand tall before it and say, "You will not break me, you will build me." That attitude transforms struggle into strength. Pain becomes fuel. Frustration becomes focus. Every time you persist when it would be easier to surrender, you create a new standard for yourself, a declaration that you will be mastered by circumstances. Remember, persistence is not blind endurance. It is intelligent resilience, the ability to adjust your methods while never abandoning your mission. If one way fails, find another. If one door closes, build a new one. The persistent mind is creative, adaptable, and unstoppable. Obstacles do not discourage it. They challenge it to think higher, to move smarter, to act stronger. There will come a day when the struggle that once seemed unbearable will become the story of your strength. The very pain that tried to destroy you will become the proof that you could not be destroyed. Each scar, each setback, each sleepless night will one day be the foundation upon which your triumph stands. So when adversity comes, and it will, welcome it. Let it test you, shape you, refine you. Refuse to retreat, refuse to surrender. Let your persistence roar louder than your fear. The storms will pass, the critics will fade, the failures will fall away, but the spirit that endures will remain, unbroken and unstoppable. For in the end, success is not given to the swift, nor to the strong alone, but to the one who simply refused to quit. Persistence is the heartbeat of greatness, and adversity is the rhythm that makes it strong. The rarest form of strength is not the power to rule others. It is the power to rule yourself. True greatness begins the moment a person decides to hold himself accountable for every thought, every action, and every result in his life. The measure of your success is not found in what the world thinks of you, but in whether you can look in the mirror each day and say with conviction, "I have kept my word to myself." Accountability is the foundation of integrity, and integrity is the lifeblood of discipline. You cannot lead others, command respect, or achieve lasting success if you are at war with your own conscience. The man who breaks promises to himself, even in secret, weakens his will. He loses the inner authority that gives word to his words and purpose to his actions. But the man who honors his word, even when no one is watching, builds an invisible strength that no obstacle can shatter. To live with accountability is to accept that your life is the sum of your own choices. You are not a victim of chance, nor the puppet of circumstance. You are the architect of your destiny. Every outcome, whether triumph or failure, is a reflection of decisions you have made and actions you have taken. When you accept full responsibility for where you are, you reclaim the power to decide where you will go next. The undisciplined mind seeks excuses. It blames the weather, the people, the past. But excuses are the language of weakness. Accountability speaks the language of power. It says, if I created this condition, I can create another. That single shift in attitude transforms frustration into control and control into freedom. You can change nothing in your life until you first take ownership of it. Self-honor is the secret that separates the disciplined from the defeated. It is not pride, it is principle. It means you treat your own word as sacred. When you say you will act, you act. When you commit, you follow through. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust in your own strength. Every time you break one, you teach yourself that your word has no weight. And how can a person conquer the world if he cannot first keep faith with his own soul? Greatness does not require perfection, it requires consistency. You will stumble, that is certain. But accountability demands that you rise again, that you learn, that you correct your course without self-pity or denial. To honor yourself is not to expect flawlessness, but to refuse complacency. It is to look at your mistakes without excuse and say, this is mine and I will make it right. That honesty, though painful, is the beginning of real power. Accountability breeds respect, not from others first, but from yourself. And that self. Respect radiates outward. It influences your tone, your posture, your choices. It draws to you people and opportunities that align with your integrity. The world may not always reward honesty immediately, but life always bends in favor of those who live truthfully with themselves. Every day you are faced with two choices, to keep your word or to break it, to act according to principle or according to impulse. Each decision strengthens one part of you and weakens another. Over time, those small moments determine who you become. Accountability and self-honor are the quiet forces that transform a wandering soul into a disciplined, unstoppable individual. So demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. Be your own judge, your own mentor, your own motivator. Hold your standards high even when no one is looking. For the one who honors his own word commands a power that no praise can grant and no failure can take away. The person who lives in accountability and self-respect stands untouchable, a master not only of his actions, but of his destiny. Every triumph begins in the unseen, in the mind of one who dares to see victory long before it exists. The body follows where the vision leads. Those who achieve greatness are not driven merely by effort. They are guided by an image so clear, so alive within them, that it pulls them forward through exhaustion, doubt, and defeat. Vision is the seed from which discipline grows. When you can see your victory before it arrives, you begin to live as if it were already yours. The undisciplined soul moves without direction, reacting to circumstance, chasing whatever the moment presents. But the one who holds a vision moves with purpose. He sees the destination even when the path disappears in fog. His eyes are not fixed on the struggle beneath his feet, but on the summit that waits above the clouds. It is this inner sight, this unshakable vision of victory, that sustains persistence when logic says stop, that fuels fate when evidence says fail. To build discipline, you must build vision. For discipline without direction becomes drudgery, and effort without purpose becomes exhaustion. The mind must first be convinced before the body will follow. When you hold before your thoughts a vivid picture of the success you seek, the freedom, the strength, the peace it will bring, your actions gain meaning. Every sacrifice becomes investment. Every hardship becomes step. Every day of effort becomes part of the masterpiece you are creating. But vision is not fantasy. It is not wishful dreaming. It is a deliberate creation, born of clarity and strengthened by emotion. You must see it so clearly that it stirs your blood. You must feel it until it commands your behavior. Speak of it, write it, live it, until the world around you begins to rearrange itself in harmony with what you have imagined. That is not superstition, it is the law of focus. What you hold steadily in your mind shapes what you draw steadily in your life. A true vision of victory must be greater than comfort, stronger than fear, and deeper than convenience. It must be so powerful that no obstacle can silence it. When fatigue whispers, your vision must speak louder. When failure knocks, your vision must open the door and say, "You are only here to strengthen me." The disciplined person does not wait for proof before believing. He believes until proof appears. There will be moments when progress is invisible, when all you have left is your vision. In those moments, you must guard it as you would guard your life. Do not let doubt or the opinions of others pollute the image you have built. The world will call your dreams unrealistic, but remember, every achievement once lived only in imagination. Airplanes were impossible until a mind refused to accept limitation. Light was impractical until a vision refused to go dark. The greatest inventions, empires, and revolutions began not with power, but with sight. Keep your vision live by feeding it daily. Review it in silence. Picture it before you sleep. See yourself already living the life you are building. Let that image command your energy and dictate your choices. Each act of discipline then becomes an expression of faith in that vision, proof that you believe more in your dream than in your doubt. And when the day of victory finally arrives, it will not surprise you. It will feel familiar, because you have lived it 1,000 times in your mind. You will stand upon the summit and realize that the greatest power was never the mountain before you, but the vision within you that refused to die. Hold fast to that vision. Guard it, nurture it, obey it. For the one who can see his victory before the world does already holds the key to it.